They, had some sympathizers here and there, but it didn't lead to another similar revolution. But then came what really defined, and still does define, I think, the Iranian political elite today, and that's the Iran-Iraq war. Most of the people who run Iran today, and make policies and execute them, etc., some of them have seen the revolution. Some of them played a key role in the revolutionary process. But all of them lived through the Iran-Iraq war. If you talk to some Iranian diplomats, which I do in Ankara, most of them will have a picture in their wallet from the Iran-Iraq war. Either they lost someone, or they were injured, or some of their family members were involved, etc. For 8 years, Iran-Iraq war caused incredible, unmeasurable damage, to both sides, to the entire region. Over 1 million people were killed, billions of dollars were lost, and these resources could have been used to do many other things in both Iraq and Iran. It didn't happen. And it ended in 1988. But even after that, Iran still continued to feel a sense of insecurity. Now, even today, when I look at, for example, the Iranian nuclear program, the reasons behind it, I think they're related to this sense of insecurity also. Now, our policy of engagement with Iran, well, when I say engagement, it sounds like as if, we never had any relationship. Now we're trying to start relations. It's not like that, obviously. Even through these difficult, turbulent times, Turkey maintained, I think, a certain medium of good relations with Iran economically, politically. We had some issues, obviously, over the PKK issue in the 1990s, but that was resolved, I think, in a satisfactory manner. And to this day, PKK is no longer an issue between Turkey and Iran. Now, regarding the nuclear issue, obviously that's a hot issue. We were in New York last week at the UN General Assembly, and it came up as a major issue there also. The Turkish line has been very clear, as it was made clear by the Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, that we don't want to see a nuclear weapon power in the region, whether this is Iran or any other country. But if Iran wants to have peaceful nuclear program, provided that it is agreed to by the IAEA, the related agencies, we don't see any problem there. We don't see a threat there. But the principle is a non-nuclear region. And this applies, as I said, to all countries in the region, not only to Iran, but others that are suspected to have nuclear power or nuclear capability to produce weapons. Basically, the line there is that apply the NPT consistently and apply it to everyone.
Let's take 3 questions and then...
Peter Abruzzese, what future do you see the next few days and then the next few years in the relationship with Armenia and Azerbaijan? Especially in view of the statement the other day, the Prime Minister saw this treaty as being practically assured.
2 more questions.
Vijay Nilekani, NEI. What is, I've seen in media reports from time to time that Turkey itself is thinking of building nuclear power plants. And what's Turkey's policy and what's the reaction in the neighborhood, both in Europe and Asia or Middle East? Thanks.
Fariborz Fatemi, Oxford Child Group. I want to follow up the Iran question. Turkey has played such a good role in terms of trying to bring Iran and the United States together. And I understand there's been some movement also in bringing Iran and Israel together. Can you comment further on that and the role that Turkey's been playing? Thank you.
With the Armenian issue, as you know, tomorrow is the 10th, right? Tomorrow the protocols will be signed by the foreign ministers. And then a new process will start. Sorry, the Armenian question here. A new process will start whereby the countries will take this protocol to their parliaments for ratification. And if they are ratified on both sides, we will have a process of normalization with Armenia, that is opening up the borders, starting diplomatic relations, a number of other trade agreements, etc. And of course, significantly, the establishment of a commission of historians to look into the events of 1915 and 16, which the Armenian side claims to be a genocide, which we don't accept. But we've agreed to look into the events. And this call was made, if you remember, back in 2005 by the Prime Minister. You know, he wrote a letter at that time to his counterpart in Armenia to start the process back then. We didn't get any response at that time. Now, if things go as planned, obviously we believe this will be in the interest of Turkey, Armenia, and the whole region. And I think the last part of my sentence is significant here, that is the entire region. Because we usually get this question, that, I mean, why do you relate the Nagorno-Karabakh issue to your bilateral relationship with Armenia? Now, for a couple of reasons, there is a connection. In a sense, I mean, they are linked and they are delinked. They are linked in the sense that we closed the Turkish-Armenian border back in 1992 because of the invasion of Nagorno-Karabakh region. So, I mean, there is a physical reality there. So there's a fact there. So we didn't do it for nothing. That was number one. I mean, not to talk about the Kars Agreement of 1921, which the Armenian side is yet to officially kind of ratify and honor. But in practice, we know that has been, you know, accepted by the Armenian side, which defines the current border between Turkey and Armenia. The reason why there is a link between the two and why this process was delayed, in fact, you know, it was going to go ahead actually back in April, and then, you know, it was delayed because of some of the events that happened, and the process has been going on for about a year and a half now, almost 2 years. The reason is that you cannot isolate one problem from the rest in our region. This is probably true in some other parts of the world, but especially true in the Caucasus and the Middle East. If we are to say that, well, you know, we will just normalize our relationship with Armenia with total disregard to what happens in Nagorno-Karabakh region, and regardless of the Azeri reaction to it, we are not going to achieve peace there. I mean, that's for sure. The Azeris will react in a way that they will feel that they've been left out in the cold, and but they need to be engaged also. So when we started this process, we basically said, in addition to our track, there needs to be a track for the Azeri-Armenian talks as well, so that, you know, everybody acts around the same time, not say conditionally, you know, I do one thing and you do the next thing, but rather let's try to get everyone to move at the same time, try to follow a simultaneous process. The meeting between Sarkisyan and Aliyev was yesterday and day before yesterday. That is an important meeting that will decide, in a sense, the future of the process of ratification in the Turkish and Armenian parliaments. We are hopeful that there will be some breakthrough between the Azeris and the Armenians on the Karabakh-Nagorno issue. That will help us, obviously, to speed up the process with Armenia. I mean, you know, practically, our Prime Minister has said this several times. I think we have shown every goodwill gesture we can to show that we are serious, we are interested in improving relations between Turkey and Armenia. I mean, I can give many examples to that effect, but like the opening of the, you know, church in One Lake and other places. Nuclear power plans. Yes, Turkey is actually looking very seriously into establishing a peaceful nuclear power program. It was delayed for about 2 years, I believe now, for technical reasons, because the bureaucracy had to prepare all the groundwork, you know, for it to go ahead. And then they had they were about to have a bid, but then again, you know, it became a kind of a bureaucratic nightmare for the Minister of Energy. But they've been working on the energy issue. As you know, it's a very tight market in the world. I mean, there are